Good morning, everybody. This is Lorraine.
And Jennifer?
And this morning, you may be watching this particular broadcast in one of our Facebook groups. You might also be
Yeah.
watching it on other platforms, but in the groups, right?
Yeah, hopefully so.
And so we thought it would be fun because we do get questions about it, and I know a lot of people are curious about whether or not they should start a Facebook group. And so this morning, a little pros and cons of Facebook groups.
Yeah. I mean, I like Facebook groups. I think the for me, just with any kind of decision, do you have bandwidth?
Mhm. Yes, because, managing a Facebook group actually takes more time than you think, and you need to think about, does your community want a group? I think that's the first question is the community that you're trying to reach, are they interested in being a part of a group? I had a plumber once say, "Well, I could have a Facebook group," and I was like, No, no, you can't." No, you should join other Facebook groups. If
Yeah,
and so you need to have a business where people want to come together, want to talk about, want to share, and interact with you on a regular basis. You can't force that interaction.
I actually think of a use case study for a plumber. I think of a DIY. But it would have to be more than a DIY, it would have to go a little bit further, but thinking of a group that, like, people want to come to that group because they wanna ask questions, and maybe it gets too complicated, and then he's there to help.
Yeah, but okay, what you start to get is the group becomes very unidirectional. The challenge with that is people might come one time. They have
Yeah,
a question, they come one time, but
yeah.
then they don't come back, and that's a
That's true.
page. That's not really a
Yeah,
group. A group is where you have multiple people interacting, and you're taking the the organizer is just that. They are the organizer, but the conversations begin to grow without them.
yeah, but you have to get them started.
Mhm.
You gotta get people talking because they're not just gonna make a group, and people are not gonna just start talking, so that takes time and effort. That takes coming up, just like you would in organic social media, questions to
Mhm.
get the conversation started.
And I want to jump all the way back because this is a mistake I made with my first group.
Mm,
I created the original Digital Toolbox group as a private group. I
yep.
thought that it had a certain panache. You had to apply to be a member, blah blah blah. But what I did not realize about groups, and Facebook has changed over time, if the group is public, the conversations appear in the timeline, and your friends and your personal followers start to see your group activity. They may be curious and come over.
Mhm.
If a group is private, none of that happens. The content can't leave the group. And so it is much harder to grow a private group. I would recommend, and quite honestly, this is what I'm doing now, is I actually have to start a brand new group public,
Yeah,
and I'm going to have to build the group again. But I think what will happen, and I'm already seeing it, there'll be more conversation.
yeah,
It'll be people who are interested, and other people are seeing it in the timeline going, "Oh, that sounds cool. I should do that."
yeah. Don't drop your new group in there because it's a great new group. A lot of good content for people trying to market their business
Mhm.
and coming up with ideas. And that's what will make it a great group because it's if you're part of it, then it's a place to go to be able to ask questions. And with more than a few words, it's really a do it for yourself, type model, and the resources will be there. And when you have questions, you'll have some place to go. So definitely join that group.
Absolutely. And the other fun thing that I can now do that I couldn't do before was people who are guests on More Than a Few Words. Those are the what I call the occasional visitors. They
Mhm.
um they don't necessarily want to be part of the group on a regular basis. They have their own groups. But I can invite them into a post or into a conversation just about their episode
Because it's public.
because it's public.
Now, I have a client where it's private, but it needs to be private.
Mhm. Well, and the nice thing is that private groups are great if you have a small community that isn't going to grow, that is a set community. They have signed up for a program. They're doing something very unique. And you want to create an environment where the conversations are private. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Um, we set up, and I have been amazed at how fast it grew. Um, for a religious organization, they started doing a lot of special interest groups. They have a wine tasting group and a euchre group and a young family group. And they
Yeah.
wanted a way to let people know what was happening. And they were like, well, we'll just put it on our Facebook page. Well, the problem is Facebook, unless you advertise, doesn't share the content from pages very often.
Mhm. Yep.
By creating this group and then encouraging all the group leaders to post updates and photos about what their little special interest group are doing, our membership in that group went from 0 to like 400 really quickly, and the whole organization only has 800 families. So to get that kind of penetration in an audience told us that was the right approach
Yeah.
for that community.
Well, and you just said it right there. The reach in a group is much higher
Mhm.
than a page. So you're
Mhm.
gonna if you have this, like, group that wants to be involved and they want to see the content, they're
Mhm.
going to see it if they're in a group. They're
Mhm.
not necessarily going to see it in a page.
No, no.
We do have a client that has a really large group, and it is private. But
Wow.
it's because it's behind the scenes, how to do this, how to do that, more of like a training type technical that
Mhm.
it doesn't need to be public. You know about it because of all the other people. So there's
Absolutely.
a case study for that too.
Yes. I mean, again, if you have a like if you're going to run a coaching class, if you're going to run, I have a physical therapist, trainer, personal trainer, and she has a private group, and it's for her clients. They're already paying her. They're paying her for other things. This is an added benefit.
Yeah.
There's interest in that group, and it's different than, again, I just joined another group on Facebook, and isn't this nice?
So how do
Uh,
you keep people involved? How do you keep them engaged? Keep them
so
wanting to post?
one of the tricks, and this is really, I'm definitely starting this with the new group. And right now we don't have a lot of members, so growing it is tough. One of the things that you can do as an organizer is, instead of just asking open-ended questions to everybody in the group, go through your members and ask one or two people, hey, at
Yeah.
Jennifer or Diane, you have a story about this. What do you think about this? You work with this problem all the time. Will you share your expertise? By
Yep.
tagging that individual person, it shows up deliberately in their notifications, not just their timeline.
Yeah.
And because you've asked them a question, they're more likely to participate.
Yeah.
So I think that's one really good strategy. Sparingly use the at everyone tag
I was
as a
just gonna ask. I was just gonna ask. What's
don't
your
do don't
thoughts?
do it don't do it every day, um, because that really gets annoying. But, once a week, if you have a post that you think is going to create some conversation, or if you have a post that has already started some conversation,
Yeah.
doing an at everyone in one of the comments to bring attention to that post is really cool. You manage a really large group. Um, what are some of the tricks that you use there?
Um, so, it's a training group, and so we need to provide material. We're thinking of questions that we think they already have, and so we're providing them that this is happening.
Mhm.
Here's how to do that. But we're also letting them know about product updates. And so, it certainly goes out there since it is a private group though, which is how it was designed. This is the form of communication to let everybody know, hey, here's a new process. Hey, here's a new product coming in. Hey, this product is going to be delayed. This product. And so definitely opinions get
Mhm.
flown around.
Mhm.
But you
Mhm.
gotta manage that too, so there's a whole team, not our team, but another team that is kind of managing that, but we try to anticipate, that type before it's going to happen. There's no shortage of engagement in that group because that is the mode of communication for anybody to get information on what's going on, when, where, why.
Cool.
Yeah.
So, if I mean, and we can talk about groups forever. I think a great place to start is join a few groups on Facebook that are relevant for you. Take a look at what the organizers are doing and take the best of those techniques. What you're going to laugh, one of my favorite groups, and I just got a note from him that he's changing it. Johnny Hates Marketing. And Johnny Cooper he really brings his personality to that group.
Yeah.
I think Melanie has a DIY marketing group that I also think is very lively and very engaged. So they're out there.
I haven't seen that one in a while. I thought maybe that one had dropped off. So that's
Oh,
that's interesting. Um, I have Indiana business owners, but I'm a good example of what not to do. I don't have the bandwidth, and so I don't stay as involved in that group. I don't wanna get rid of it, but, it's not that engaged of a group. Of course, you are talking to business owners, and sometimes they be a little more, "Let's keep it to the ourselves."
yeah, yeah. Well, and the new group that I just started is it's the More Than a Few Words Club. You can find it at MTFW Club,
There you go.
Facebook.com groups, MTFW Club. And I'm looking forward to seeing where it goes.
Alright. Well, you guys take care.
Listen, have
Bye
a
now.
great week. Bye now.